people can actually go to the community. Say tomorrow, I go to a place where I do textiles, but we have like a meal which we all cook together. Group of us, if we see something like like a cake or a packet of biscuits, which we bought from home, and we try and make a meal. And it's very, very good because nearly everybody there, they haven't got families, so it's company. You need that kind of community together, because otherwise, if you haven't, you feel desolate and despair. Yeah, I think they must be a resilient community. Very, 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 it's hard to believe though, isn't it? I think it's very, very sad. Those poor people who travelled over here from Ireland, there was families who lost generations because not everybody was strong. They need more education, like my neighbour said. She said it'd be great that people be able to see it. She said, because she said she thinks that people just pushed it under the carpet. Because I've been working on it, this project, it helped me with Father's Day, because there would have been so many other people whose fathers either died or the dads and mums had to stay behind. But also they had to leave their homes, the schools, documents, all sorts, start again. And it made me think they must have felt really lonely and frightened being here. He's a farmer, she's a farmer's wife. The crops have failed. The nan died, her mum and her father died, and her elder brother. And they're thinking they will have to move. Well, it would have been a lot difficult because they're children and it's like their childhood's gone. Well, her childhood, her whole life would have gone, and his whole life would have gone. So do that, let people see it there. But no, I didn't want to leave Bebington to go to Port Sunlight, so I can actually identify with her, because children are quite resilient, they can start again. Very, very difficult. Very difficult, very worrying. My first passport actually was to go to Dublin. And I can remember being very excited but scared at the same time, because our friends gave us a lift in their car and they drove to Holyhead and we got the boat. And I was seasick. It was horrible. So I can imagine it must be quite scary for these. And it would have been overcrowding, wouldn't it? The boat. Must have been a nightmare for them. Especially being told, well, you can't go to England. And then find out that you have got to leave all your belongings behind. You go apply to the council actually phone welfare section, housing benefit people, and it's up to them to decide under their discretion whether you get a ticket or not, which I think is really sad. Also, you only use it 3 times. If people haven't got any money, they will have to, they'll need food. In this case, these poor people didn't have an address. It must be awful to go to bed hungry, and especially having to explain to your children why you're hungry. Because children like to eat it all the time, don't they? I know it sounds odd, because I'm a compulsive eater. I wouldn't know. This is it, isn't it? I know you sort of feel sick, you feel dizzy, you feel faint, you've got a headache, and your stomach's groaning. But thinking about it, when I think I'm hungry, I'm not really, I'm probably just thirsty. And I've noticed if you're upset, it upsets your stomach, your whole well-being, make you feel ill as well, so it must be really bad for them. Even because I lost my own home myself last year, you know, because my dad died and all that. It does basically happen. But unfortunately, I didn't know they had a fire as well. So half of my stuff went. But it's actually helped me throw most of my old clothes, which didn't fit me. I feel a lot better for it, to tell you the truth. It's also helped me to let go, which was a bit difficult at first, but now I can. Sort of realising, yeah, I am enough, I've got ample to what other, you know, the settlers wouldn't have had anything, even when I've got nothing to eat in. I know I can always go to make it happen, or I could come here. I was thinking, not many people know a dog. Dogs never ever have a voice in anything, because when I had trouble with my family and the dog was about the only person who knew exactly what happened, and no one says to a dog, well, what really happened? And I thought children would want to just basically look at it. Owner Michael is a gamekeeper on owner's land. There's no potato staple diet. Crops have failed. Michael, gamekeeper, went to the cruel landowner, told him there was no food due to the great hunger. Landowner told him to kill and eat his hairy mutt. That was the 5th member of his family. Sad day. He went back home to his house to tell his wife and children they had to kill and eat the family's pet dog. Enough. They all burst into tears. The father reassured Shannon, the 2-year-old wolfhound, they wouldn't eat him. That night the whole family gathered their belongings for a new life, to salvation in the new world promised them, land of milk and honey. But I've looked after one of his dogs before. But I think it did me a world of good. Like, staying in a nice environment. I got loads of exercise. So it was quite weird, but in a nice sort of way. To be able to be trusted. These people wouldn't even have that coming here, would they? You know, someone said, well, I can trust them. So, I put her family in Ireland. She lost her mum and dad, and she lost 2 brothers and a nan. And that's the cloud up there, that's supposed to be the holy. There you go. That's Ireland, and she's crying because she wants a mum. That's her, because she's a new mum. I never thought I'd look after another dog. No, God. She's probably thinking, because her brothers and sister died, she never thought she would be a mother. Because usually you'd have your mum and your nan with you. Because where I live, there's a young mum, and she's coping really well. But she seems to have a lot of, you know, relatives around, which I noticed, which is good, really. This lady here, you know, she probably won't be, will she? Be quite frightening, really. Yeah, I found the poem where he said thank you. It's a bit long and winded. Dear, my new family. Here at Make It Happen and Place a Contribution, this family have given me food when I was needy. When I was thirsty, you had given me a drink from the fountain of knowledge. When I was cold, you gave me heat when I needed warmth. Make It Happen, you gave me a reason to go of a morning and enjoy living life. You gave me a family when I needed love. You gave me clothes when I was abandoned and was left with rags and shame. You gave me replacement shoes to walk beside you on the right spiritual path. You gave me a shelter from the storm when I needed to be rescued from my crisis. Thank you, making me resolute and resilient to freedom, strong, confident. Happy and healthy member of Birkenhead and the Wirral area, UK. This is for my dad, rest in peace, who died on the 13th, 2023. Thank you, everybody, all that make it happen and place a contribution. Yeah, it's taught me. Well, you know, I haven't got much, and I don't really need loads, do I? Should be equal. Be like heaven. Everybody would have all food. There'd be no starving, no hungry. You'd have enough to give your dogs and your cats. 3 meals a day. It was basically, they got to try and eliminate the greed and make sure there's sufficient food going around. We learn to make sure everybody is shared enough. During, I know during about COVID, when it first came out, on the news there was people queuing up outside Asda with 4 trolleys each. And, you know, there was people who didn't have a computer, so they couldn't shop online. I mean, I know elderly people who had to go out themselves because they didn't trust anybody else, just in case they got diddled. Because I know some families where I live, they actually shared their food, their dinners together. One day the mum will make a dinner, another day someone else's mum will make another dinner, which I think is very, you know, it's clever really. It's made me feel very, what's the word? ashamed some of that, my heritage and my history, really, thinking, my God. Because they were wicked, really, weren't they? The landowners, what they did. Well, I have noticed, even if you do go over to Liverpool and Birkenhead, most of the Irish settlers who came here, they've actually helped towards the industry or buildings. They brought their crafts over. I'm very proud of Liverpool. I think it's lovely. And the buildings, can't believe how beautiful the buildings are. I'm proud of the spirit and the history and the culture.